Well, I have another Zoom meeting at 4:30.
Okay, that won't work then.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to schedule for tomorrow. Grab my schedule and schedule me in for tomorrow then.
I already did. We're on at 2:30.
Okay, excellent, awesome, thank you.
Okay, sweetie.
Hello, everyone. Anita, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Nancy,
Good.
how are you? Paula, it's good to see you.
Fine, thank you.
You figured out your logins there? And she was on, but now she's not. That's okay.
You scared her.
You know what? It's not the first time. Okay, so let's...
Oh, you talk rubbish sometimes.
What's that?
You talk rubbish sometimes if you're referring to me. I was just moving something from the background. I don't know how to change the background, so I was just shifting something.
Oh, I see. What do you guys see?
Zoom launching. No services found for your search.
Okay. Well, we'll get running on this in short order. Actually, I got a few other things today, too. I'm excited about today. Give everybody else a chance to pop in. They'll be popping in just a minute.
Two of the students that I was welcoming on board today said that they would be here, both John and Wayne.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
shortly.
So hopefully they'll be able to jump on here in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So who's got their fast action boot camp set up and started? Well, don't rush to make your announcements.
Technically, I've had one for a while, so.
You what?
Technically, I've had one for a while.
Well, let's get that scheduled and get that launched. You can do a virtual one just like over the Zoom.
Okay.
We'll get working on that later today too, okay? All right. Anita, what have you been working on? Oh, she's on mute with somebody else. Paula, what have you been focusing on?
Hi, Laura's husband. Good to see you.
Hello, what's up?
There you are.
His name is Marcel, so I guess I could.
Oh.
So you're not just Laura's husband.
I know, right? I'm used to it. It's cool.
Right? Okay, so we're about ready to start here. Go ahead and put in the chat what you've been working on so we can kind of see what you guys have been working on here recently. Anita, what have you been working on? Nancy? Who else is on here?
Yeah, I realized you asked me, but somebody else started talking, so I just left it.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat.
Finishing the culinary arts science degree. Okay. Paula's doing the boot camp. Janine's been onboarding new students. How many of you guys been onboarded by Janine? How'd you like it, Laura?
It was awesome. Getting to talk with her, really getting to, what's the word I'm looking for? Get acquainted with the system, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
We talked domain names. I actually had a talk with her yesterday. That was really awesome and very, very helpful too.
Good.
Yes, so if
fantastic.
you've not done that, definitely get with her. And I said this in the group as well, but I'll say it here that just through going through this training, Tina and I, we're actually going to be collaborating a bit with our both of our boot camps. Even though they're separate, we have a lot of the same market in some sense. So we're going to be able to help cross promote. And I strongly suggest, you know, find out who else has something going on. Look at what other people are doing too and collaborate, because there's so much to go around and you go so much faster when you work together.
Yeah. Janine, can you do me a favor? Can you put in here the link to get in? We got some people coming over on Facebook looking to get in.
Okay, so give me a second.
Big difference between Zoom and the webinars one was that you used to get reminders,
Right?
but with Zoom you don't get any reminders, not unless you manually go in and send out the registration info. Well, that's just what I've found anyway.
Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to post that. And invite, I guess. Hopefully that works. Okay. Well, hopefully that that rolls out. All notification settings. All right, so I'm going to have to play around with that a little bit. All right, so if you guys can see this, we're here on the Facebook group, okay? And I just want to strongly recommend you guys come over here to the units. Janine's been doing a phenomenal job at going through each one of these. And this is just kind of ancillary stuff, not what we're intending for on this. But she's done a remarkable job at going through all of these and organizing them to make them more, what's the word I'm looking for, Janine? More effective for them to like review?
Organized, streamline, step by step.
Yeah, she's been going in and doing a lot of that. So we're going to be really engaging a lot more on the Facebook group coming up. A quick reminder, and I'm going to show you guys this tomorrow on office hours, but some of you might not be here on office hours. So I'll inform you on some of the changes that we're going to be making. And the changes that we're making is, one, we're going to be changing these from Module 1. We're going to be referring to this as the basics, Module 1. But instead of having the Module 1 up here, I'm going to change that to the basics. And so on and so forth, like getting started. We're also, whoops, I'm at like these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, Fast Action Boot Camp. Oh, what am I in? Oh, I'm in my library. That's the problem. In Marketplace, that was the challenge. We're going to be changing this to be more consistent to have the name of the module in here. Okay, so it'll be Fast Action Boot Camp and Freelance and Grow Rich, audience building. And I want to share with you a little bit about why this is. This is because what we want to do is understand that the MP5 MS2, the applied questions simplified, are going to be who to sell, what to sell, and how to sell it. Do you think that that is a little bit easier to figure out what you want to be doing? If you just knew who to sell, what to sell, and then how to sell it, right? So with that, I'm looking for the strategy for success is service, digital, continuity, and big ticket. And just so that we're very, very clear about the progress moving forward, and the reason why I've got the Module 1, 2 Fast Action Boot Camp and Freelance and Grow Rich, why I have those moved in there is because those are part of the service elements of the strategy for success. Do you see that? So this way you don't have to feel like you're going back and forth and how do they really fit in. I'm now just starting to insert them where they match up and where you should be looking at them from. Okay? So from there, after you've got the service and within the Fast Action Boot Camp, you already know how to do a boot camp. You already know how to service your clients. Now you're just doing it on a larger scale, right? One on many. Then we're doing the Freelance and Grow Rich. We're going to talk about that today. And then in the Freelance and Grow Rich, that teaches you how to, expand your marketplace out a little bit more, okay, and being able to provide great service. So with that, then we go into list building and then YouTube and Facebook. And again, these are the 3 questions that you always have to ask yourself for each element. So it's not like we're changing anything. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So it's not like we're changing anything. It's the same format. It's just now we're moving into digital. Once you've gotten your Fast Action Bootcamp, you should be able to know how to create some of your content for your digital products. Is that correct? Would you agree? Okay, perfect. And then from digital, obviously, then we can move into more continuity, into big ticket, and then we finish it off with learning how to staff, outsource our stuff, scale it up, and then promoting. Now, the sequence for marketing success is exposure, engagement, and then conversion. Okay? Exposure, engagement, conversion. So with that, always keep these things in mind. It's all about how much exposure can you get. And if you're going to get exposure, how much engagement are you doing? You can't just promote stuff and say, like, here's my stuff. You have to now create that engagement with people ongoingly. And at all levels, you're going to be engaging in this exposure, engagement, and conversion. When you're doing your Fast Action Bootcamp, you've gotten some exposure with people that already know you. And so now you're just inviting them in, and so that's your engagement, and then the inviting them in is your conversion. That's why we're doing it, is because you already know people that want to join you. You and them have been asking you questions about how to do things, and you've been leaving money on the table. In fact, you know, they're willing to buy from you, except for you're unwilling to sell them anything. How many of you have suffered that? Okay. Paula's like, yeah, a little bit. Okay. So, you know, and I made the comment earlier, and I'll make this comment again tomorrow, that the reality of it is just this, right? Is that, you know, if you're worried about, like, am I charging too much? Understand that if somebody says, you know, I know people that charge less, you need to come back with, you know, you have customers that are willing to pay more, and start looking for those customers that are willing to pay more. Make sense? Okay, so I just wanted to kind of go over that today. I'm going to go over that again in office hours tomorrow, but I just want to make that quick distinction for you here. Let's see. Thank you, Janine, for posting that. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yep.
Some of you are probably looking at your, and this happened twice today, that's why I'm bringing you up on this. On your website, if you're coming on here, if you're installing pages and you can't find them, down here in the lower right-hand corner will say go to page 2. Okay? So I didn't realize that some people were not, and this happened to me twice this morning. I showed somebody that said, yeah, go to page 2, and they're like, oh, that's where that page is. I thought it just didn't install. And so they've been reinstalling a page that hasn't been available. So we want to make that happen. Okay. So let's get on to the core of today's program, okay? Any questions so far? How do you guys like the simplicity of it? Does all that make sense, the organization of how this flows? Does it break it down even more so you're not feeling quite so overwhelmed? Okay. Great.
Anyone else? Come on, guys. Okay, good.
We're not
Okay.
Janine, we're on mute.
So Daniel identified Janine as the pit bull of the group, and her daughter sat right next to her and said, "What's a pit bull?" "Oh, that's a dog that's designed to take down bulls." And they call you that? So yeah. So you know, when we're going for engagement, that's who you're gonna be. That's who you got to put up with. Just telling you, engage or she's coming after you. All right. So that being said, let's all go over. Now, I want you to go over, I want everybody to take a moment, and to be very, very blunt with you, I don't care if you don't want to be on Fiverr. The reason that we're going on Fiverr today is simply to understand some of the components of how to create a freelance account. There are hundreds of freelancing account platforms that are out there. And one of the reasons that we like Fiverr is because it's quick, easy, and it's very, very popular. There are other websites that are more designed for some of the services that you might be offering. And so some of the services that you might be offering could be writing, could be, I mean, there's a website called hiremymom.com. Yes, yes. But at hiremymom.com, it's quite comical because now those are more VAs, and we talked about this last week, the distinction between a virtual assistant and a freelancer. But the hiremymom.com, it makes complete sense. It's a website of professional women that got out of the workforce to go and have their kids, wanted to take time out to be with their kids. Now their kids are in school at 5 years old, and mom's looking around saying, like, I have all of these skills that I've paid for and I've learned, and I can use all these talents. And so the kind of the hiremymom.com is, 5-year-olds saying, like, can somebody please hire my mom? Right? So it's a cool thing, and it's for more executive work, but you get the idea. So let's go ahead and jump onto Fiverr for today. And what you're going to do is you're going to come on here and you're going to go through. You're going to take a moment and you're going to go through on the buying. You want to make certain that your account up here is set to buying, and you're going to start over here at graphics and designs. Now in graphic and design, I want you to go through each one of the subcategories that are in here. Logo design, brand style guides, business cards and stationery, illustration, tattoo design. If you're an artist of any form, way, shape, or form, come in here. Here's game design, graphics, Twitch store. So here's the deal. If you don't know what Twitch is, then apparently Twitch store is not for you. But if you do know what Twitch is, and you've made a store for yourself, guess what you're now eligible to do? Create it for somebody else, right? So I want you to really consider this. We're coming in here to book design. Now, book design, let's say that you're, let's see, book, look at this. If you're any kind of a designer at all, if you just like, putting things together, guess where you can go to create templates and make this stuff. Okay? You don't even necessarily have to have the tools and resources. How many of you enjoy design work but don't have Photoshop anymore because it was on your other computer and you lost your license, or you forgot to renew it and you didn't want to spend a ton of money on it? How many of you guys are familiar with that kind of experience? Okay. Or let's say that you're still just good enough, or you got pretty slick at making some of these things pretty quickly. There are free resources out there for you to be able to do this sort of thing on. Okay. Book design, album cover design, podcast cover art, packaging design, car wraps. Okay. Now you can imagine car wraps. Isn't that rather interesting? Most people would sit there and think, like, car wraps, well, don't you have to print it? Well, imagine if you created it but also had a referral link for somebody that can actually print it for them. Right? But that's a great way of looking at this and saying, like, well, I'm a good artist, and normally, I have my own car wrapping service right here, and most people come in and I got to do all the artwork. Well, you know what? What if I could just go ahead and post it right here, and I can print out the print and send it out? Or I can, just keep doing the car wraps right here for other people and use it as an affiliate link. How many of you guys, how many of that is kind of a new idea for you? Okay. So you want to learn, like, you might be, you've had experiences where you can make money off of this, but that's how you can amp that up, level it up a little bit. Photoshop editing, presentation design, infographic, vector tracing, website and mobile design, social media, banner ads, architecture, landscape, building information modeling, trade booth design. Okay? Now, some of you might be thinking, like, well, what's trade booth design? What do you think I'm going to tell you what trade booth design is?
Expo.
Expo? What else?
No idea.
No idea. I don't either. So here's what I'll do. I'll just go right in here. Oh, this is what trade booth design looks like. Well, if you've ever been on one of those little games, you know how to put something like this together. So now we're understanding a little bit more about what they're looking for.
Tyson, I'm going to interrupt real quickly.
Yeah.
Whoever has a car alarm going off in the background, please mute.
That's me.
Oh,
It goes off roughly at this time every day. I kid you not.
lovely.
It's like I'm thinking that's an alarm, not a car alarm for theft, but to wake them up. Anyway, but come in here. You got 3D booth, kiosk, $50. So if you find anything in here or anything grabs your attention, right, grabs your interest, feel free to pop into this and take a look and see what's available. Like I had no idea that this sort of stuff was available. I will design exhibition stalls with realistic results. So now they're just giving you an idea, and I guess what they could do with this is take this to a print shop or somebody who actually does it, right? 3D, so he's doing all 3D modeling on this. Not a bad idea. Certainly adds a lot more luster to the idea of being able to creatively give somebody a visual. If you're into setting that stuff up, I would totally hire that guy to like create a couple of different gigs for me. This way, I give my customer, I include it in part of their package, but it's a $500 value to my customer, but I'm only paying him $50. Not a bad deal, right? That's another way that you can leverage this. If you've got services that you want to do, for example, social media services, but you don't know how to do all of them, or you don't want to do them, you can easily go out, get a couple of customers, tell them that you'll charge them, $200 for it, and then turn around and pay somebody else $50 for it, and you made $150. Yeah, okay, great, Laura. Okay. All right. Okay. So characters have got 3D modeling, flyer design, brochure, poster. These are all the print designs. These are all things you can make up in Canva. Merchandise, T-shirt and merchandise. How many of you currently know how to are wonderful designers, creative designers? How many of you in here are a creative designer?
Me, but I hate it.
Okay, wonderful. So everybody knows that you got it, so you can turn around and start hiring other people to do it for you while you get your clients. Okay, John, how you doing, brother? Okay, so I want you to go through graphic design. Did anybody in here come up with anything in graphic design that they wanted to explore?
Did we come up with anything?
I mean,
Yeah, I'm just wondering if anybody saw anything in graphic and design. Not really. Okay, so let's go over to digital marketing.
SEO.
Okay, so Janine wants to provide SEO services.
No, I want to hire SEO services.
Okay, well, you can hire your SEO services over here. Perfect. Social media marketing, marketing strategy, public relations, content marketing, email marketing, crowdfunding, SEM, surveys, web analytics, social media advertising, local SEO, influencer marketing. How many of you guys know how to use Yoast? You're on mute, Laura.
Oh, I was saying I'm going to learn.
Okay, great. You're at a beginner level, but here's the deal, Paula. Even at a beginner level, somebody's not at your level and might be willing to hire you to fill that in for them. How many of you have had challenges with just setting up the Google console?
I don't even know what that is.
But
your
what's that?
instructions made it easier.
Right? So here's the deal. So from that, from the Google console, two things have happened. One is that you can just buy my video on how to implement Google console, or you can hire me to do it for you. Those are two different things. Those are two different services now that you can add on to something like that. Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay, e-commerce marketing, podcast marketing, book and ebook marketing, domain research, music promotion, web traffic, other. So let's go into podcast marketing. Let's say that somebody just wants to find out how to market their stuff on a podcast. By the way, there's two ways of being able to do podcast marketing. Would you guys like to know what they are?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, me too. When I find out, I'll let you know. Okay. No, all right. That was a bad joke. Actually, it wasn't a bad joke. That was a dad joke. I guess we could replace bad jokes with dad jokes all over the place. And I digress. So here's what you do. So you have people that own the platform, right? The podcaster. You can either be a podcaster and maintain your own podcasting, or you can go on as a guest and promote your material on other people's. Now, you got your own captive audience, but if you were to go on to somebody else's, because people are always looking for content, and so if you promoted if you signed up to be a guest for somebody, right? You can be a guest for somebody, get yourself on their podcast. You can provide a checklist for promotion. Let's say that I was going to be a podcast marketer for Paula. I'll be your podcast marketer. Does that sound okay? One of my gigs might be on here that I'll provide a checklist that I want to make certain that her funnel is prepared for her podcasting. That might be one service, because that's a needed service, isn't it? Because if you're going to go over there to if you're going to be on somebody else's podcast, you want to redirect them over to buy something from you, and then you'll want to make certain that you'll want to make certain that the person, that the host, right? You'll want to make certain that the host has his affiliate or her affiliate link to that. So now you're going through the whole checklist. You're sending them a checklist saying, I will provide a checklist for you to go through everything. And whatever you're missing, I'll let you know. You can also set up, say, hey, I will coach you on setting up a podcast guest profile. Now, why would a podcast guest profile be necessary? I'll tell you why. Because podcast hosts don't want to have to figure out what to talk to you about. If you wrote a complete outline that said who I am, what I do, how I get it done, the key questions that you should be asking me, here's going to be my responses for them. All they've got to do is sit there and look down at their piece of paper and ask you the questions that you ask. That you can pre-frame this, so now you're controlling the interview. Now, if you got to control the interview, would that put you into a better position for security?
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're looking to have people come onto their platforms, and they don't want to have to go dig up a bunch of stuff about you. They would rather you provide it. Okay? That's another service. Here's another service. You can go and say, I will give you 10 podcasters that you should interview with that have your exact same targeting. Now, all that means is that I'm just going to go through and find out what their message is, and then I'm going to go find 10 podcasters for them, and I'm going to say, here's the podcasters you should be submitting to. All of those are great ideas, and all of those are needed services that people need to have. Would you agree? Okay? Yeah. And that took all of about 3 minutes to figure out. But now we start thinking through the process of what's available, right? So we don't say no to anything on here. Writing and translation. That's why I say, look for, okay, so was there anything in digital marketing that you want, that sparked your interest now that I brought up the podcasting component?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So just go through here, and if one comes up, even if you don't know anything about it, you don't know that you don't know it. You just think you don't know it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So until I get in here to podcasting and I start looking at what are they doing in podcasting, and I start going through multiple services, again, what did I say about podcasting, or what did I say about going through these? You go into seller details, top rated, and best-selling. Okay? I will read you or your project on my ad. Okay, well, I don't really like these two. I think I came up with better ideas, but I can go to now level 1. If I'm not getting enough on top level, I can at least go to level 1, and you can see that I have a few more. So very few people have reached top level marketing or top level service on in this arena at the moment. Well, you know what? Ironically, Easel? Somebody pronounce that for me.
Giselle.
Giselle. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Well, I'm glad I asked somebody to get off my to go on mic with that one. I was botching that one all over the place. All right, Giselle. So, yes, as a matter of fact, there is. So we're going to come over here in writing and translation. Okay, go through these and decide on a couple of them. Okay, video marketing, music and audio. So right here, if you're in the entertainment industry and nobody is hiring you right now, go here. Okay, because this is where people are going for quick professional solutions. Music and audio, same thing. Singers and vocalists, mixing and mastering, session musicians, online music lessons, podcasting editing. Okay? Now, you might be asking yourself, well, wait a minute. What? I thought that was in digital marketing. Well, that was the podcast marketing. But over here, we might see that podcast editing is over here. Okay? Programming in tech, business, virtual assistant, data entry, market research, product research, HR consulting, business plans, branding, other, career advice. Let's go look at, Tina came up with one the other day, said it was mentoring. Other. I mean, look at here. Boomza is in, I will write your senior director, VP, SVP, or executive resume. And this one's listed in other. I don't know why. But but we all remember who Boomza is, right? You would have to go through that. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to look for her tags real quick. Okay, so she got interview, executive summary, and resume and negotiation. Okay, so I don't know why that's listed under other. I'm sure this is not the only place it's listed under. So business, legal consulting, data entry. So if you got a Salesforce on here, you might find something in data entry, business plans, branding services. So I don't know if I would find one on Salesforce. It's not. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Gene. Okay. Salesforce. Okay. Or request for it. Okay. All right. So I want you to go through and I want you to find one that you like, and then type in the box ready when you're ready.
Are we looking at this in terms of a service that we might be able to provide, or in terms of a service that we could utilize?
That you can provide.
Okay.
And by the way, just so that everybody knows, every single one of you knows that you're an expert at something, and you can offer that on Fiverr, no matter what it is. Whether you've been certified or not. I can teach people sign language. I'm not an expert, but I can still offer it. I can teach people how to brew kombucha. Everybody's an expert at something. Think about your hobbies. Think about your day-to-day.
Well, I mean, for crying out loud, let's just take a look here for a moment on lifestyle. Thank you for bringing that up, Jean. But over on lifestyle, I mean, you can give fitness lessons, craft lessons, cooking lessons, arts and crafts, relationship advice.
That lifestyle tab is is a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, astrology readings. You could be giving spiritual and healing advice and then creating your own meditation CDs and posting them on there. Okay? Now, remember, Fiverr is a place where people can buy. Okay? They can buy. They're not looking for just services, but they want to buy solutions. I think many of you are getting bogged down with the idea of buying services. But there are solutions on here.
Think about
Okay?
the last time somebody asked you for advice and you gave it. You can offer anything, literally. Curious, Laura, what'd you find?
We went into relationship advice, and the first thing on there was, I will improve your Tinder profile and get you a date in 10 days.
Like I said, you can offer anything.
Anything. $20. Like.
Okay? So how many of you are starting to see the power of being on a platform like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did not realize how in-depth this goes. This is awesome.
Okay?
Some of you guys are really crafty. Maybe you guys can offer your craft advice.
Okay, so let me know when you guys come up with something. You don't have to let me know what it is. I just want to get you guys there.
Tyson, Paula has a question for you.
Oh, yeah. Here's one way. Okay, senior level, 7-day. Right here, 316 reviews. So we can guarantee that she's at least had 316 sales.
And 305 of those 316, which is a pretty high percentage, gave her 5 stars. So, rock on.
Okay? So that's how you find out. You look at their reviews.
Probably a better question, I'll just come off mute, is there a way to search on what sells the most of or something like that in a particular category?
Say that again?
Is there a way to do a search on what sells the most? You know, like most popular items?
Oh, sure.
You think?
Well, so I'm going to go to logo design. At least here, right? So there's 132,000 services available, but if I go over here to the top level, top rated, and the best selling, this is going to help me identify a little bit more effectively, like what's selling really well. Okay? Oh yeah, well, if you'll remember, that was the same lady that I had shared with you. That I'd shared with you made $1 million on Fiverr, Laura? Okay. Are you guys starting to see the power of this, of being able to expand your offerings and growing a client base?
Yep.
Okay. So now with that being said, what I want you to do is so everybody type in here, ready, if you're ready for us to move on to the selling component. If you found somebody to model. All right, perfect. Now I want you to open up a new tab. Let's see, I don't need any of these open anymore, do I? I want you to open up a new tab. And when you open up a new tab, I want you to switch to selling. Now, if you have not done that yet, you've not created your seller's account, then quickly go back and do that.
still in Fiverr.
Yeah, we're still in Fiverr. And up by your profile should be a buying and selling. And if, I haven't done this in a long time. I have to apologize. But if you have to, you might have to log out, go to an incognito, or not. Don't log out. Just go to an incognito window. Okay. And it'll ask you if you want to. If you're, I can become a seller. I can sign in or become a seller. So then you can sign in here, and they'll have you go through that. Type in the word seller when you're on your seller screen and ready to go. Laura's ready. Well, that's a good question. So you can use your actual name. I use mine, and you don't have to. If you wanted to expand your services so that they could find you over here and somewhere else, you want to keep that that continuity, certainly. Let me get to that in a minute, Aline. But you can also, but here's another way to look at it, okay? If you wanted to change your name so that your profile name, so it's related to your services, such as resume writer, right? You can use that as well. Again, you would be using that then to influence people to see what you did. Yeah, you can go with Mindset Mastery.
I think I saw that in lifestyle somewhere.
So you can go with Mindset Mastery Pro. Okay, so Aline asked if I start a new vendor account, how am I going to be in the top ones? How can I get there if I'm just starting to sell my service? Okay.
That's a great question.
That is a great question, and so I want to answer that when everybody else is ready, okay?
Is everybody ready? Put it in the chat box. One, two, three, 4, 5. We have 9 people on the call. 10 people on the call, sorry. And I think the other half, I think everybody's ready now.
Okay, all right, great. So that being said, let's roll through this. If in order for you to like, and this is not a guarantee, and there is no real, what's the word I'm looking for? Fiverr doesn't exactly tell you how. But here's what we've come to experience, okay?
Python does.
Here's what we've come to experience. We've come to experience that if you have a hot offer that you're selling for a really unbelievable price, and you're getting good reviews immediately out of the gate, that tends to start building that up. So if there's something that you're willing to do to get going on, that people would say like, holy crap, you're doing it that cheap, you have a higher propensity of being able to make it. So you want to have something that's unique and has a high there's a high need for it. And how do you know if it has a high need for it? Well, you know, if it's in your industry, you'll know if there's a high need for it. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to come over here, because this is a problem that some people have, right? Some people will come over here and they'll say like, oh, well, logo design, that's got a high need to it. But I'm not a logo designer, so it doesn't matter. Does that make sense to you all? Okay. I'm going to go within my subcategory. I'm going to find something that has a real high need in there, and then I'm going to create this unbelievable offer. Okay? And then after you want to get some sales, but you got to keep it kind of tight, and you got to be willing to do it for at least a week or two. Okay? And you'll see your sales start to spike, but then they'll start to level off as well. So it is a game of you playing and doing what? Testing. How many of you guys remember the word testing? Okay? All right.
Very good, Laura.
Great. Test, review, and test again. Exactly. So we want to figure out what this really means. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead, and since I talk about this one all the time, I may as well go ahead and use this. Okay, so if you're ready, I want you to have your 2 tabs open. 2 tabs open. Okay? Now over here on your seller bio, okay? You come over here to your seller bio. You're going to click on your bio, and you're going to go, what's your story in 1 line? Now, I don't want your story in 1 line. I want you to identify yourself as an expert in your field.
Can you give us an example, Tyson?
Yeah. So for example, here's Booms's certified resume writer, career consultant, experienced recruiter.
Perfect.
Award-winning acting coach. Award-winning acting and vocal coach. Or experienced. I mean, what are some of the stuff you guys have?
Expert in.
Yeah, write down what you're an expert in or what you're an experienced person in. Go ahead and write that down here in Zoom, just so we can see it.
Don't be shy.
I told you guys, the pit bull's on deck today. Buying and selling mobile homes. Okay, I want you to put experienced actor and voice coach. Okay, 14-year. Okay, buying and selling mobile homes. I don't know. You can go into contract review, expert. What was your service that you saw on here, Aline? Okay, we don't go with very expensive logo designer. We come up with certified brand and logo expert. Okay, Savannah?
Please don't use certified unless you are certified.
Well,
to-
yeah, you know.
No lying.
Okay, so award-winning film editor and storyteller. So do you see how I did that, Tina? You're an award-winning film editor and storyteller.
No lying.
Hold on. You told me you were an award winner, that you got an award for one of them. Okay. But your films got the award, didn't they? Don't you share in that? I mean, the only reason it got to be an award, you had a participation in that, right? Okay, well, award, but you're an award-winning film editor. The award-winning film is the operative word. You were the editor of it, and storyteller. I just, you know, here's the deal. I want you to start thinking outside the box on this. You don't have to lie, but what we're doing is we're trying to influence we're trying to influence the outcomes. Does that make sense? And don't get me wrong on this. I don't want you guys to be confused on this, okay? Paula, what was yours? I'm gonna go through so you would call yourself, Aileen, a CRM expert. Well, you can give career advice, Paula. And just so we're clear here, Paula, Fiverr is not the only one that you've got to be on. It's just the one that we're doing today, okay? All right, great. Because there's a ton of other ones out there. All right, but I want you to, so here's the deal. What you guys are doing is that you're not, what I'm seeing most of you putting on here is telling me what you've done. I want what you've done to be an identity for you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For example, okay, Boom's a certified resume writer, career consultant, and experienced recruiter. Wonderful. Okay. She's now created an identity for herself by what she's done. She didn't write in here, I have been certified as a resume writer. I've also been a career consultant, and I've done a bit of recruiting in the past. Do you see the subtle distinction? One's claiming what I've done, and the other one's alluding to who I am. And that adds a lot of credibility. Would you agree?
Paula, does that help?
Okay, so
You can have several accounts too.
but you want to go with a big overarching. I am a professionally trained professionally trained XYZ, experienced in 1, 2, 3, and leave it at that. And then you can add in your you can add in your credentials later, and we'll get to that one too. Okay.
Paula, why don't you schedule with me and we can brainstorm?
Several gigs on that. Well, you can have several gigs, but you can also just have several. Several gigs on the same account. Okay. All right. So what I want you to do.
And yes, Nancy, there are others like Fiverr.
Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to create your title. And then from there, I want you to scroll down and I want you to edit your description. Tina, you might want to experienced. Experienced editor of award-winning films over 25 plus. Yeah. All right. So in the description now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you to take a look at something like this. Okay? Now, let me be very, very clear about something I'm going to do, because I don't want you guys to be confused. Okay? I am literally going to copy this. I'm going to open up a new Word document. I'm going to paste it in there. The only reason I'm doing this copy and paste is so I don't have to switch back and forth and try and remember it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Type in yes if that makes sense to you. Okay? I am not using hers at all other than just a base model. So if there's somebody out there that has a lot of experience that's similar to you, that's using language that's familiar to you, and they already have it organized, it would make sense. So I'm going to start off with, hi, I'm Tyson, and let's see, I'm Tyson. Thank you for checking out my gigs here. I am a certified professional person with over 25 years in this industry. I have seen it all. I can help you with whatever it is. I have over X years of experience and certified in the following areas. Okay? Does that make sense? I use hers as kind of a flat outline to like begin mine. Yeah, it was Boomza.
Did I spell it right?
Yes, you did. Thank you. Oh, no, S-A. Boomsa.
My bad. Did you get that, Laura?
Boomza. Okay? But let's take a look at a couple of things that she did in here that is worth noting. She declares that she's from the United States. Do you think that would be important for somebody who wants to get a job in the United States?
Yes.
Okay? Let's say that she was from Australia. Okay? I would put, my name is Sherman Pock, originally from Australia, but lived in the United States for the past 30 years. That immediately gives her credibility and also tells me a little bit about her background, doesn't it? That makes her now more personable to me. Okay? She's been featured in Forbes, The Huffington Post, Ladders, Glassdoor, Houston Chronicle, Career Podcast, Good Morning America, contributor. I love this one. I write amazing resumes which have gotten thousands of people hired. Out of all of those, that's the most important thing she can do. I have edited X, Y, and Z documentaries that have gone on to win awards, and some of the most prestigious whatevers, right? I have edited for award-winning films or for films that have been awarded and recognized in such festivals as Cannes Film, XYZ Film, that sort of thing, right? Okay. My services on other sites would cost, look at this. My services on other sites would cost well over $300. I can't wait to help you with your dream job. What's the first thing you're thinking?
She's expensive.
Crap. Buy from here. Yeah, I'm getting a deal, right? Okay, so you'll want to add in a few elements in here that reminds them, you know, what you've done and why you're so, what makes you so appealing, and then let them know that this is why buying on this site makes you more appealing. Because one of the things that Fiverr can do is Fiverr can say like, well, is she anywhere else? Yes, she is. Can I buy somewhere else? Yes, I can. But when I'm on those other sites, by the way, just for note, okay, she's already got 2 services that are over $300 on here, her standard and her premium. Okay, so she probably writes the exact same thing on Upwork as well. Okay, so it's a pretty generic one. Notice how she says on other sites. She didn't identify this one specifically. By the way, let me just kind of like review something really quickly. How many of you guys have ever watched those commercials during the Super Bowl when they would show a really hot, fancy new Audi, and it was shiny black? How many of you guys have seen those? Okay. Here's the deal, what you need to know about those. Okay. They are showing you, and they are appealing to your sense of like, boy, wouldn't that be great? Because you're driving in a fancy black car with all the bells and whistles, aren't you? And it's typically on a road that's really well lit, romantically lit, and there's no other cars on the road. Now, it's funny because people don't complain about those types of commercials as being unrealistic because, you know, but what do? At the end of it, what do? They say, you know, you can get all this starting at just $150 for a lease. Now, I don't know about you, but that is quite the experience to see all of that, right? To be going to formal black tie dinners and such like that in a vehicle like that, and whew, the dates you could get, and the roads are apparently empty when you drive on them, right? And all that for just $150 a month. So you're like, I'm going to go. You go boogieing it on right on down there, and then you roll in, and they look at you and say, what's your credit score? 400. Oh, well, for 400, you know, your starting out is going to be at $750 a month. Well, that's okay. I'm all cash. I can do it. So let's go ahead and do it. Which car do I get? They take you to this little jalopy that's all the way in the back corner of the lot. You're like, wait a minute. I thought I was getting that one out front. Oh, no, that's if you can afford it. Well, you know, based on your credit and everything else, in order for you to get something that you can afford, we got to go all the way to the back to the cheap ones, right? So they got you hooked into this idea, this emotional sensation of like, I want to get all that. But then what, you know, if you got all that, you'd have to have really great credit. And by the way, that one's never $150, even if you had amazing credit. You guys get my message? Okay. So this is how you, you get the base model for the 150, but they didn't show you the base model in the advertisement, did they? Just take this into consideration as, you know, be bold enough to, you know, recognize how to present your material is what I'm trying to drive at here. Is that clear to everybody? Like you can influence the buyer based on, you know, she's influencing me right now by telling me that that she writes amazing. She doesn't just write resumes. She writes amazing resumes which have gotten thousands of people hired. And then, of course, she points out her combined, now you're not going to have combined reviews, right? And then she says that my services on other sites would be really expensive, so you definitely want to buy here. What's that doing? That's influencing you to buy from here right now, isn't it? Okay? So go ahead and take a moment and craft out your description of who you are, what you've done, and how you serve people. Go ahead and take a moment to do that, please. You don't have to, Anita. You don't have to make that claim
Okay.
of thousands of people.
So Anita, give yourself credit where credit is due. Okay? Don't diminish yourself. Look at what you've accomplished. You've done a lot in your life. Everyone has.
Okay.
Okay?
How about you, why don't you set up a session with me as well?
You've created over 1,000 meals for others. Okay? Let me just like point this out to you. Okay? Do you think that anybody has ever asked her to validate and verify her thousands number?
Nope.
But but just to be clear, right? Like she didn't really, she doesn't. So she's not going out there. Says, I don't know. It's got to be thousands of people by now. I mean, for crying out loud, I got 20,000 in combined reviews, so I must have at least done 1,000 in order to be able to create 20,000 in reviews.
Okay. Can you say I have taught dozens?
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
I mean, if you've taught more than 10 classes, that's 100.
Okay.
Now, again, I'm not asking you guys to be inauthentic. I just want you to start giving yourself a little bit of credit, okay? Understand that nobody's coming around wanting you to certify and validate that you've done exactly that. So if you've got kind of like you're in the guess, notice she didn't give me like an exact number. That's my point that I'm trying to make here. Does that make sense to everybody? John, is that good? I mean, you could change this from I've taught thousands of people to I've taught thousands of hours on this topic.
Okay.
Okay? Go ahead and write that out.
Yes, Paula. It's definitely about your posture. You guys want to make sure that, be confident in yourselves. If you're not confident, call me. I will blow sunshine up your butt. But it'll be real. I promise.
Wow. Yeah, it's all about how you're positioning yourself. Okay? I'm a professional film editor with over 25 years. I have edited award-winning films that have been featured at or honored at, okay? I have helped hundreds get what's the word I'm looking for? So here's the deal, Tina. You want to make certain that you've gotten hundreds of mentees. You've helped get hundreds of people in the industry. The word I'm looking, it's like a working actress or a working actor, paid work. I've helped hundreds of people get paid work in the industry.
Get recognized, perhaps?
No, because does that make sense, Tina? Because you've got some element of it is, you've helped plenty of mentees get into the industry, all as apprentices, right? But they're looking for work. Would you agree? Yeah, there you go. See, do you guys see that? That's a key element in that particular industry, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Good words, Tina.
Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. Great. So now with that being said, now we got kind of our profile set up. Let's go over to our gigs. And on this one, we're going to create a new gig.
Is everybody ready? You can always come back to this as well. But I want you guys to be able to follow along.
Okay, let me know if you guys are ready to move over. Move on to this next section.
I think I'm in somewhere completely different.
Okay, look at the screen
Tyson, can you answer Tina's question real quick, please?
in a minute. Go back over to this screen, okay? Is this the one that you're on? You probably went in and updated this. You update your description, then come back up. You should be in, this should say switch to buying. If it says switch to selling, then get over to the selling one. So this will go live when you publish it, when you're ready to go live. And you don't really have to, you won't go on, and once your gig is up, you can publish it to go live or not. Okay? Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, so you come up here and you select the word gigs. You see this, Anita?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and select gigs and you'll come right over to here. This will be your gig title. Now, whatever you're modeling, I'm just going to model this one. All right, your senior director's VP executive resume. I will write your senior level level resume. Now, I don't want to copy and paste hers, but I still want to get it in the same venue, okay? Senior executive level business, okay? So I'm going to start here. Then I'm going to go and select a category. Now I'm going to go back over to my model. I can see that her category is in business and other. Remember I asked you guys, I was wondering why this was in the other? That's exactly why, because she had designed it to go there. So pay attention to this. She's got this particular one over in other under business, but she also has some listed in resume writing. So for this one, I'm just going to go and go with business and other. Okay. Then I'm going to look for my search tags. Search tags, I'm going to go back to my original and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the page because I want to see what tags that she has on hers. Do you guys all see that?
That's smart.
So I'm using everything that she has as a model. Okay, now I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go interview, executive summary, resume, cover letter. I might put that on here. So executive resume. Oh, 5 tags. Cover. Okay, so it might not let me. Why is that not letting me do that?
Because you're spelling it wrong.
Well, no, it stopped me off on the letters. Cover letter. And it'll give me a list. So residual resume writer. So you want to use some of the ones that they've got in here. Does that make sense to everybody? So start out just like a Google search. Keywords anywhere might, but you know, you certainly could. But you know, coming over here and using what Fiverr has in here is advantageous. Okay. Because of course they're using their algorithms, not Google's. But you can get ideas from keywords anywhere. Okay. So now that I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and save and continue. Are we all ready to move on to step 2? And notice that we got step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so there's 6 steps to this. Ready to move on? Okay, great. Okay. Oh, so did you guys see this? I'm going to save, and it says letters and contains letters and numbers only. Okay, I want everybody to look at this really quickly. Anita? I put my cursor in here, and do you guys see the problem? I have a space, don't I? I have a space at the end of the S. Nope, apparently I have a period. Great, now it's changed. You guys see that? Okay. Now we're going to create some pricing. Name your package. Remember what we said we wanted to name these as. We saw this as basic. Get started. I don't want that. Get started. Preferred. Best selling. Okay. How many of you right now want the basic package? Nobody. Right? So now we're trying to drive them towards the premium package by saying it's the best selling, right? How many of you guys think that that might be a little bit of an issue for you? Just type in the word me. Because you don't know that that's a best selling yet, do you? How many of you guys have a problem giving it a name as best selling? Laura's the only one? Come on, Paula, I know you have a high ethical standard. You're going to type in here, say yes. Best value, Paula, okay. How many of you guys have ever been to Subway? Okay. Remember when they were offering the $5 footlong? They got sued because somebody took a tape measure and measured it out and said that's only 11 inches. They said that was false advertisement. You know what Subway came back and said? No, it's not. That's the name of it.
Nice.
So if you imagine, every time you go to Starbucks, how many of you guys order a small? How many of you order a small? No, you don't, Matt. Nobody can buy a small. You can only buy a tall, and it's the smallest one there. In fact, if you ever ordered a small, they would tell you, we don't have that here. Remember we talked about that culture of language? That's a culture of language. They don't have smalls, they have talls. They start out at tall. And then they get bigger from there. That's why the next one's a grande, then a venti, then a super duper day, right? Okay? So I didn't say this was the best selling. I'm just saying that's the name of the service. Does that work for everybody? Okay? All right. So, and don't get me wrong, I still think that's funny, okay, guys? I mean, I still think it's funny. Okay. But, by the way, if you guys have ever noticed those, Red Bull gives you wings, that's because somebody decided to take them up on that challenge and said, hey, Red Bull doesn't really give you wings. And they said, well, it's kind of stupid for you to think so, but since you think so, we'll change our advertisement. That's why Red Bull gives you wings with at least 3 I's in it, so it's misspelled.
That's retarded.
Yes, but we deal in a litigious society of idiots. All right. So that being said, now we're going to go to the describe the details of your offering. Now I'm going to simply come back over here and I'm going to look for her descriptions. See, she calls them senior level resume, director level, or executive level. Well, nobody wants to go for a senior level. They want to make sure they go for an executive, so that's how she's influenced her package names. You see that?
I like that.
Okay. So I can come over here, and again, senior level resume, cover letter, LinkedIn, optimization, outlining your achievements. I can bring that over here to my Word doc. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to go with basic. Okay. Right here. Includes cover letter. Not plus, I want to use the word and. Wherever that key is. And I'm going to change this from optimize, I'm going to change this to optimized LinkedIn. LinkedIn profile. Okay, make sense? So now I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come right back over here. The basic includes cover letter and optimized LinkedIn profile for profile outlining your success. Okay, are you guys seeing how we're using this going back and forth? Very nice, Laura. I like that. So Laura says you can call it something like best selling. It may become the best seller. So speaking that into existence. Very good. Awesome. Okay. So now I'm going to come back over here. Now she's offering this in 7 days. Now notice that she's got the delivery time is 7 days, but the bonus is she'll do it in 30 for an extra. She'll do it in 3 for an extra $30. So that's a fairly decent deal. If I'm wanting to compete with her, I might want to do something different. What do you think I might want to do?
Go beat her up. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Right. Might want to mitigate my days. Right. So I might want to come over here and say my delivery time is going to be. I'll do this. I mean, it's like a name that tune, right? Revisions. Did she offer any revisions? I don't want to do anything more than what she does. I just want to do what she does better. And for this one, it's $275. So maybe I start mine out at $260. So now I'm doing mine faster with less money. If I want to do it extra time, I'll deliver this in 3 days. For an extra $25. Okay? I don't have to have anything in here. Now I can just go ahead. Are you guys all ready to save and exit now? Move on to stage 3. Okay, I'm just going to assume that's a yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm not, all right, so 1, it gives me this. For sake of conversation today, guys, everything's the same, okay? All right. For price from lowest to highest. Oh, right. There. Okay. So, so looking at this even sets you up for more success, doesn't it? Yeah, no, I'm not publishing this. Okay? But now we're going to briefly describe my gig. This is only just as an example of where to find this information. So notice that all of this material is right on this front page. You guys notice that? You guys noticing this? You're finding all this. So where it says about this gig is over here in the description. So again, I'm going to start this because I want to make my own. And I do things similar and different. So here I am again doing my ability to review. Okay, so she identifies who she is. She's letting us know that she's a US-based certified resume writer, 17 years, got that stuff. Okay, I don't have that, but I can write my own. Here it is. This gig is designed to meet the needs of these people. Okay, and then she goes on to what this package includes. Now I don't know what the ATS optimized resume is or anything like that. Okay, but you guys get the idea here. Now I can take this. And now I can go in here because now I've broken down the components of what she's written and I can write my own of it, right? US born and raised, graduated from Seattle University, helped others get senior positions. Okay, down here, the resume includes the cover, the LinkedIn, okay, you guys see that? So you finish filling that out. And again, we can come back in here and edit all this, okay? But I can come in here and I can paste all that. And now here's some frequently asked questions. Now, how many of you think that you might want to use this frequently asked questions stuff? Now, what I recommend is specifically this, okay? I recommend that you find 3 other people that are in your field. 3. I want you to write down what their frequently asked questions are. And I want you to pick the most pertinent ones that are relevant to you, and then I want you to write your answer to those questions.
How's everybody doing?
We're all probably writing.
Mm-hmm.
Good, Paula.
Perfect. Okay, good. Eileen, how you doing? Giselle, how are you? Tina, you getting yours? Nancy's still laughing at my stuff. Going to give you guys about another 5 minutes to finish this up, and then we can move on. And again, by the way, let me just remind you, don't bother with the frequently asked questions yet. Just finish your briefly describe your gig, okay?
Remember, you guys can always come back to this a little bit later. We want to make sure that we're following along with the class so that we can get through it all.
And I'll show you how to do the FAQs in just a moment. Okay, Paula, stop jumping ahead of the class, please. Totally. It's almost embarrassing. I got a whole carton of apples shipped to me the other day from her. Yes, as a matter of fact. You know what they say, you are what you eat. Anyway, so, all right, quick check-ins here, everybody. Quick check-ins. You got 2 more minutes.
When you're ready, type ready, please. Tyson, I have 3 out of 10 ready right now.
Yeah, I see that.
Six.
How are you seeing that and I can't? There. All right. Okay, so I got Matt, Anita, Jenny, Laura, Nancy. Giselle, how about you? John, you're ready? Aline, are you ready? Okay. I'm going to assume you are. Okay, that's fine, Tina. All right, so now check this out. So what I'm going to do is I am going to come over here and I'm going to right-click on Fiverr and I'm going to open up in a new tab. Okay? I'm going to have to switch to buying here for a moment. Let's see. Resume. I'm kind of shortcutting this. I hope you guys get the idea. Okay. Now, also, by the way, have you guys noticed that people are offering quarantine discounts? You guys see that? So imagine if right away you're offering discounts, but you don't have to discount your service because you're just starting out. You can just say it was a discount. It's a discount from future prices. Would you see that? Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this one right here, Harvard CV, whatever it is, okay? Or excuse me. Yeah, okay, so I did this right. So I'm going to hover over this guy's, I'm going to right click and I'm going to open up in a new link. I'm going to grab hers, open in a new tab, Open in a new tab. Now notice this one's Nurse Boss, right? Who do you think she's writing cover letters for? Physicians, people in the medical industry, right? Okay, now the reason I did this, and I've got them opened up, so I got all three of them opened up here, like so. I'm going to go down to their frequently asked questions, and I'm just going to write them into a Word document so I've got them. Well, that's a good one. What's your process? How many revisions will I receive? Is there a guarantee? Is it necessary to complete the worksheet? Okay. Did you actually go to Harvard? What's the ATS and why is it important? What information do you require? Do you have hidden fees? I need my resume fast. Okay, these are good ones. So you can write down all the ones that you think are relevant and then post those. But notice that I've got all three of them open so I can copy, so I can write them down on my piece of paper quickly, right? And then I've got them for future reference. I'll just go ahead and delete out of these now. And I'm back on my gig. I can either choose to do this later, just by offering the first question, then creating my first answer, and then adding. But for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to go ahead and save and continue. Are we all good with what I just shared with you?
Okay, if you're not answering, does that mean you have questions? Okay, I think we're good.
Okay. All right. Save and continue. Tell the buyer what you need to get started. This is where you stop to think about what it is that you need to get started. Okay? Is there anything you need? If you don't need anything, nothing. I'm ready to go. Okay? Now, this might be if you have a digital download, you can just go ahead and post it right here. Nothing. I'm ready to go. Here's the link to your or nothing. I'm ready to go. I will send you the video within 1 day. Okay? If you guys are offering training videos or something like that, that's what you can put right here. Make sense? I can unselect answer as mandatory. I can create multiple answers, and you need to attach a file. So, for example, if they had a LinkedIn profile, I would say, excuse me, I would say something to the effect of, I need your LinkedIn profile. I may not need your username and password, but I just need your LinkedIn profile so that I can create your optimized one. Thank you. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Now we're on requirements. We're almost done. How many of you guys are excited about this? Just type in the word I am if you're excited about this. Okay, Nancy, Jenny, Greg, Anita, Laura, okay, Paula, great, awesome.
Giselle, are you still on?
Tina, John, Matt, and Amy. Must have at least one requirement. Please send me your LinkedIn font profile. Okay, save and continue. Oh, I know what I did. I didn't hit the word add. I didn't add it. I just tried to save it. Okay. Now, drag a photo, something that's relevant. No, that's a... Okay, I'm grabbing Monica's. Okay. Now, if it doesn't save, it's because you have, they need to be at least 550 by 370 pixel height. Okay? And by the way, if you don't know how to adjust the size of your image, what is a suggestion I might give you? Hire somebody on Fiverr to give one to you. Or you can just go to Canva, or you can Google it. But you could also just hire somebody else on Fiverr. Will you make this will you create my Fiverr gig photo? Okay. So that being said, I can come down here. What's this say? If you have videos, by the way, videos are also really good. Okay. So where do you think I would suggest you get a video made at?
Fiverr.
Fiverr, right? This is a great way for you to display not only who you are, but things that you've done. And if you go on to Fiverr and you have somebody create a really fancy one for you, no, I wouldn't go to Upwork, John. Okay, it increases the possibility for you up to 40%. But you can grab as many photos in here as possible. Notice this one. Notice as soon as I hovered over it, see what happened? I got arrows to the left and to the right. There's only 2 photos, but I'm still looking. Well, everybody here is really imaginative. Now that one's kind of clever. Notice this one's not nearly as engaging, but I do notice that they're on here multiple times, but so is everybody else. Okay? Some people are using pictures of themselves. Okay? Is that cool? All right. So that being said, I'm now done. I'm ready. I'm going to save and continue.
Is everybody on the same page?
Okay, are we good? So I'm saving and continuing. It drops me right over here to the publish. I'm going to publish this gig. It's alive. Now check this out. Now on this, I can take this, I can grab this link and I can share it with everybody. Okay?
Everybody.
You post this on all of your sites to get things going. Now we're going to talk about this in just a moment. Okay? But I really want to come back up here to the word gigs. Okay? You can go ahead and publish that. And then what I want you to do is I want you to come right back up here to gigs as quickly as possible. And I want you to select the drop down and I want you to pause this gig. Now this gig is now paused. In other words, people cannot come on here and start asking for this gig. Does that make sense to you all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So for those of you that were afraid to hit the word publish, I've now just saved you, haven't I? Okay? So now you have no excuse to not publish it, right? And get it going. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now,
From everybody right now, is everybody on the same page?
okay. If you're not, let me know. Otherwise, I'm moving forward. Okay? All right. So now this is paused. Okay? Now, going back over to here, here's some really cool things about Fiverr. There's my dashboard. Fiverr will give you a little bit of information on how to become a successful seller. It will give you more skills and exposure, and it'll help you get noticed. One of the things that I recommend is that what you do initially and this is a kind of a workaround to get you up. Your first goal is to go from level 3 to level 2. That's your first goal. That's what gets you them starting to work with you at getting your stuff done. Does that make sense? Fiverr will do more to promote you at level 2 than they will at level 1.
Tyson, is this the one where you need 50 reviews to move up?
Nope, you need 10.
10.
You just need 10 reviews. So here's the workaround. What you do is that you greatly diminish your price, send it out to your friends, ask them if they'll purchase, and give you a good review. And, you know, when they say, like, when I did this, it was really weird because, you know, I had some people, I was doing this for some of my friends, right? And the biggest challenge was I didn't want them to do any of the work. So what you have to do, in other words, they were going to make something for me and I had no use for it. Okay? I had no use for it. And so, you know, and me not thinking, I went ahead and bought it, thinking that that's all I had to do. I was busy and a friend of mine posted over, so I said, yeah, I'll buy it. So I bought it and walked off. Here was the problem. I walked off and my friend got dinged because they couldn't start and finish that gig because I walked off. I didn't understand the scope of it. Had they told me, do me a favor, buy it, and then do this, and I'll send you a receipt, that would have been it, and that would have been done and over with. But because I skipped a step, I cost my friend. So I had to go back and change that. Okay? If you'd like to, absolutely, Tina.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea. Okay? So make certain that you're really clear about what the requirements are, and let them know that, hey, this is, I'm going to post this for $5. After that, it's going to go, you know, it's shooting straight up. Okay?
Yep.
Yes, you certainly can, Paula.
All of your social platforms.
Yeah, Paula's actually asking about, so Tina's got her own group, Paula. Mm-hmm. But if you had something in here that that people wanted, you're, you know, first 10 people. And I don't want you guys getting into just like, oh, so all we're doing is just sharing all this stuff and doing it for everybody. You know, don't go into that expectation that everybody's going to roll in on it, but that's what we're looking for, okay? If you can support each other, that makes really good sense, okay? Exactly. Now, finally, in the last few minutes here, Paula came up with a really great comment. What happens if you're uncertain as to what they're delivering?
That's a good question.
So, as I'm looking on here, so far, we know what everybody's offering, don't we? We've created an entire page that identifies what we're offering. But some of you might be a little bit distressed over what you should be delivering. Do you see that? So what I would highly recommend you do, and by the way, let's say that I was doing the Facebook. I have no idea what Boomza is doing in order to edit their profile for LinkedIn. Is she asking them to become an administrator? Is she getting their straight logins? Is she asking them to go over to LastPass and share the password manager? All these are questions. Would you agree? Okay. So if you agree that there's some uncertainty, a really secure way of going about doing this is to go ahead and buy a gig from them. Because now you're not saying that you're buying a gig from them, you're investing in your future by observing the whole process. Do you see that? Okay. So I'll go back to the comment that I made, that I always make. One of our students stressed out about what are they giving in the membership? What are they doing in the membership? What are they doing in the membership? What do you think I should do in the membership? I don't know. What does your market want? Their response? I don't know. I don't even know what to look for or what they would even expect. So I said, spend some money on this person right here. Buy their program and then figure out what they're delivering. And if you think you can deliver better than them, then put yours together using them as a baseline. She did. After 3 months of complaining that she didn't know what to put into the members area, 3 weeks later she had a complete members area completed, installed, and was selling. Not a bad deal. Would you agree?
Yep.
Okay. Now, also, let's take a look at just a few other ways that you can make money off of this. One of the ways you can make money is, let's say you're going to review a website and you're going to click on all the buttons to make certain that it happens. In the messaging that you want to give back is, here's my review, and here's some, and if you implement my suggestions, it will greatly increase your conversion rate. So this way it gives them a little bit more, because then they come back and say, well, can you just do it for me? Well, I can't do it off of here, but I can certainly do it, I can certainly have you go over to another service that I can recommend. Now, that other service that she happened to recommend happened to be owned by her, or at least they were an affiliate, right? Okay. All right. Now, some of you might be asking yourself, well, how many gigs can I create? Well, as many as you need, but I want you to look at some of these gigs. She'll create a professional resume. She'll write a mid-career resume. So if people are saying like, well, yeah, but I'm only mid-level, well, then I'll write you a mid-level one. It's no more work on her part. She's just changing a couple words. Would you agree? Okay. She'll create a cover letter that will ensure an interview. Notice that the term is ensure, not guarantee. I will optimize your LinkedIn profile. Well, how many of you guys noticed that she already offered optimizing my LinkedIn profile over here? Did you guys notice that? She already offered to do that. Why is she breaking it apart? Well, because some people might not see that or notice that. She offers it in all of her services, but let's say that you're not a senior professional, whatever. You just want to get this done. Well, she's separated that out for them. Do you see that? Of course, she offers it over here, but she may as well make it a separate service itself. Write a thank you note. Customize reference sheet. Powerful graphical resume from existing content. One-on-one career coaching. Well, some of these people are coming in, they're like, well, I don't know how to interview. That's fine. I'll coach you on how to interview for success. Now, in the mid-level career resume, here's your mid-level career resume. If you're uncertain as to how to interview effectively, you might want to check out my other gig. And for some of you, if this is going to be a type of a gig that you can actually like create a video or a training around, then you might want to offer that, because like Paula said, hey, I've noticed that some people are offering coaching programs and digital deliveries. So you can automate some of this stuff. You can put on here powerful productivity worksheets designed to help you become more effective and efficient in your day-to-day work. Now that doesn't cost me any time at all, does it? I just have to sit down once a day and deliver them all, don't I? Okay, so we're 1:52, or my time, almost 2 o'clock. All right, so give me some feedback real quick. What did you guys love most about today's class?
There was a lot of great ideas that went around. I absolutely loved the fact that you can really just copy, model. You can just model and paraphrase a lot of your gigs, and the idea of cycling as far as having your gig, and then even if you can't offer all of the services in it, either outsourcing through another person or having an affiliate. I thought that was really cool.